Okay, I will answer part 1. The first is the main problems. The main problems is the students are having trouble with accuracy. They are replacing difficult English sounds with easier sounds from our language. This makes it hard for listeners to understand the difference between two different sounds. And now I will explain about the classification. The first is vowels. The student cannot hear or say the difference between long and short sounds like sheep and sheep. It's the same way. The second is diphthongs. The students make double sounds into one flat sound. Example, face and face. And the last is consonants. The students struggle with sounds that do not exist in Indonesian. Example, changing t into t or d and v and v into. Okay, number 2 is analyze of causes. The first is native language influence. In Indonesia, we don't have sounds like words think or this, because students most are used to Indonesian. They used to close sounds they know like T or D. Number 2, different sound system. English has many more vowels I sounds than Indonesian. In Indonesian, a vowel usually has only one sound. In English, one vowel can be short or long, and this changes the meaning of the word. Students are not used to this length rule. The third is English spelling. English spelling is confusing. In Indonesian, we usually read words exactly as they are written. In English, the letters don't always tell you the correct sound. This makes students pronounce words based on how they look, not how they should sound. And the last is not enough practice. Many students focus on reading and writing, but don't practice listening to the small differences in sound. Without enough speaking practice and the drills, the muscle in the mouth don't learn how to move correctly for English.
Linguistic analysis of pronunciation errors. Minimal pairs are pairs of words that differ by only one phoneme. In English, vowel length and tenseness are phonemic. It means they change the meaning of a word. Indonesian vowels are generally shorter and do not have tense or lax distinctions. The example is sheep versus sheep. The error occurs because Indonesian speakers tend to use a single E sound. In English, E is lax or shorter, while E is tense or longer. The second example is beat versus beat. Without the distinction, a student might say, I can beat the cake, when they actually mean, I can beat the cake. IPA transcription of problematic words. There are 5 words frequently mispronounced by Indonesian learners, which is think. Think in IPA is pronounced as think. Well, the Indonesian learners often pronounce it as think. This occurs because of the substitutions with a dental plosive T. The next example is this. In IPA, it's pronounced as this, while Indonesian learners often mispronounce it as this. These errors occur because of substitution with a voiced alveolar plosive D. The next example is very. The word very in IPA is pronounced as very, while Indonesian learners often mispronounce it as ferry or perry. This mispronunciation errors is occur because of the lack of voiced labiodental fricative V. The last example is face, which is actually pronounced as face, but Indonesian learners often mispronounce it as face or face. This errors is occur because of flattening the diphthong into a monophthong to make it simpler to pronounce. The third question's answer: articulation explanation. It is about consonants. So the difficulty with the, and the stems from the fact that these specific combinations of place, manner, and voicing do not exist in the Indonesian phonological system. Let's analyze the first consonant, which is the dental fricatives, such as th and the. This place is on the interdental, the tongue tip between the upper and lower teeth. The. The manner is fricative because there is an air is forced through a narrow gap, creating friction. The voicing is for is voiceless because there is no vocal cord vibration, while for the is voiced because there is vocal cords vibrate. Also, why it is hard to pronounce for Indonesian learners? Well, Indonesian lacks interdental sounds. Students revert to alveolar plosive, where the tongue touches the ridge behind the teeth and stops the air entirely. The second consonant is the voiced labiodental fricative, which is the lower lip touches the upper teeth. So, why it is hard for Indonesian learners? It is hard to pronounce because v is not common in Indonesian words, so v is often be replaced by of to make it easier to pronounce. This can be seen in the common pronunciation of province, which Indonesians say it as provinsi or provinsi. Okay, so for the number 4, why these errors occur? So basically it's because of phonological gap. If a sound doesn't exist in the native language, the brain literally struggles to hear the difference until trained. And then orthographic interference. Indonesian is highly phonetic. They spelled exactly as it sounds. Students often try to pronounce every letter as it appears, while English is not. Lastly, diphthong flattening. Indonesian actually also has diphthongs, like I in pantai, but English diphthongs often involve subtle glides that Indonesian speakers simplify into single flat vowels to save effort.
Part 4. Impact on communication. Number 1. Do these errors affect meaning? Yes. These pronunciation errors can affect meaning, especially in minimal pairs where a small difference in sound changes the meaning of a word. For example, confusing long and short vowels such as sheep and sheep can lead to misunderstanding. Similarly, mispronouncing consonants like f and f can change very into very, which may confuse listeners. However, not all errors cause breakdowns. Sometimes listeners can still understand from context, but frequent errors reduce clarity and confidence. Number 2. Example of misunderstanding. Shape versus sheep. Very versus very. Think pronounced as think. This pronounced as this. Go pronounced flat like go. These errors can lead to misunderstanding of keywords, requests for repetition, communication breakdown, and formal situation. Number 3. Which is more important, accuracy or intelligibility, and why intelligibility is more important than accuracy? The main goal of communication is to be understood. Even if pronunciation is not perfect, communication can still be successful if the message is clear. However, accuracy is still important because it improves clarity and helps avoid misunderstanding. Therefore, learners should focus on intelligibility first, then gradually improve accuracy. Part 5. Solution and teaching strategies. Number 1. Classroom activities for vowels and diphthong. Minimal pairs practice. Students can practice contrasting words like shape and sheep to recognize sound differences. Listening discrimination activities. Students identify which sound they hear. Use of vowel charts helps students understand mouth position and sound differences. Sentence-based practice. Students practice pronunciation in context, not only isolate words. Tongue twister. Make pronunciation practice more engaging. Number 2. Techniques to teach difficult consonants. Explicit articulation instruction. Teachers explain how sounds are produced, like t, tongue between teeth, and the same position but voice, and f, lower lip and upper teeth. Mirror practice. Students can watch their mouth movement. Minimal pairs. Students can use minimal pairs to find out the differences such as fan and van, thin and thin. And gradual speed practice, like start slowly and then increase speed. Use of gesture to show voicing and mouth position. Number 3. Use of technology apps like pronunciation apps, Elsa, Speak and BBC Learning, English. Recording tools. Students can record their voice and compare with native speaker. Speech recognition tools like Google pronunciation or AI tools like ChatGPT, voice or speech tools. Shadowing with YouTube. Have students find a 30-second clip of a speaker they admire, and then they should record themselves speaking alongside the video and matching the rhythm and vowel length. Then listen back to identify gaps.